Hey guys, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, whakalofala hiatu, and no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to this week's podcast episode. I am so grateful, I am so thankful, I love you, thank you so much for being here as always. This week I am talking about stop putting yourself down in front of others, stop putting yourself down, period, stop talking shit about yourself. And I really want to speak to this because it may seem harmless when you talk shit about yourself in front of other people, you mock yourself in front of other people, and actually it's quite normalized as well. Like, amount of times where I see someone talking shit about themselves and nobody calling them out, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, hey, don't say that about yourself. Hey, that's not okay, you know? So I'm going to talk about why you do it, why it's not good for you, and why it actually affects your self-worth and your confidence. I'm really sorry if I flash you today. This top is just not staying down. I do have like the chicken cutlet bra thingies on underneath, so you won't actually see my boob. But if you are watching on YouTube and you're like, what the fuck, Liz, you're giving us a free show, it's not my actual boob, so otherwise I would charge you for it. But look at this top, like it's actually a dress, and I feel so amazing, and I look fucking good. And if you are listening on the podcast, you can't see me, but just know I look fucking incredible. See, that's how you should be talking about yourself. And if that made you cringe, like, oh, listen to her talking so highly about herself and talking about how amazing she looks. If you were like, ugh, like, who does she think she is? Or that made you cringe or trigger you, something inside of you or something like that, that's something that you should really look into. Why do you feel that way? Why is that not normalized? That shit should be normalized in life, speaking fucking highly about ourselves and about the people around us. So when it comes to putting yourself down in front of others, you might say things like, oh no, I can't wear that. My body's too fat for that. Oh, I don't look good in this. Oh, I'm fat and ugly. Oh, my double chin. Oh, I look fat. Oh, I can't believe I wore this. Oh, I shouldn't wear this. My rolls are hanging out. Oh, my double chin's hanging out. Did I already say that? I did say that. I'm a mess. My arm flabs. I don't look good in a bikini. I look like a big whale. Oh, I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I'm always the funny fat friend. I'm always the fat friend. Oh, you guys all look so good and I look ugly. Oh, you look amazing. You guys are all dressed up. You guys look great. I look ugly. I look disgusting. And it's like, fuck, like, stop doing that. And let's talk about some reasons why you may do that. So the first reason is maybe you want to say it before anybody else says it. You want to get that step ahead, right? You're protecting yourself from what somebody might say. You're saying, oh, my rolls look bad in this dress, because you're worried somebody might say, hey, your rolls look bad in the dress. Oh, look at your rolls hanging out. Oh, you look like a pork chop with the strings and the pork chop thing, So you say it first to protect yourself, to be like, hey, I know my body isn't good. So I know I look this way and it doesn't look good. So I'm going to soften the blow and I'm going to say it first. So I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is me and my rolls and all the things, right? So it's like you're protecting yourself. So you say it first. Or sometimes you might even be trying to say it to be like, hey guys, I'm okay with that. I know the way I look. I'm fine with it. And then some people will take that and be like, oh, she's fine with it. Let's mock her some more. Yeah, you do look like your little pork roast or whatever, the joke was. So then it actually becomes even worse for you because people run with it and they think it's okay to talk to you like that and to keep mocking you about whatever it is, that you've kind of said about yourself. And then that's become normalized. And then every time you show up in front of those people or friends, they just keep mocking you about this thing. And they think it's okay because you made it okay by mocking yourself first. Do you get what I mean? And it's not okay and it shouldn't be made okay. So that might be one of the reasons, you're trying to soften the blow. You're trying to be like, hey, I'm aware I look like this and this is how I protect myself. I'm going to put it out there. Or you might even be hoping that there's some self-validation, or not self-validation, but validation from others. You're like, oh, I look so fat and ugly in this dress. and you're waiting like for someone to be like, no, you don't look fat and ugly, you look great, you look incredible, you look this, you look that. You shouldn't be looking outside for external validation. Validate yourself. Know in yourself that you look incredible, and you don't need someone to be like, hey, you look great, to know that you look great. You already know you look great. And one thing I think I do really well is when people pay me compliments, I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I know I look great. I know I look amazing, but it's like, I'm not waiting for someone to say that. I already know I look amazing. So anything anyone else says is like, oh, that's nice also, but it also doesn't affect the way that I show up. It doesn't mean I think better of myself because someone's complimented me. No, I always think I'm amazing. I always think I look fucking great. I always, so validating yourself and not holding on to somebody else's validation. Oh no, I look like a fat whale in this bikini. And then you're like looking around waiting for somebody to be like, no, you don't. And then if nobody says no, you don't, then it's like, oh shit, everyone thinks I look like a fat whale in this bikini. And they might not even be thinking that, but you're the one that said it. So you put yourself in this downward spiral. And if this hits close to home and you're like, damn, that's me. That used to be me. I used to be like, wait, what? Nobody said anything? So then I look, or like I'll say it in front of my boyfriend and then he wouldn't say anything. And then I'd make it mean, and then I'd go on this downward spiral, and then I'd cause a fight with him. Or I'd have a very like terrible day where I'm not fully myself because I'm inside my head being like, I look so ugly. I'm worthless. I look disgusting. I shouldn't be out here. Everyone thinks I look ugly. Everything, like all these things, right? And I think I should do a podcast as well about ego, because how fucking inside your ego are you, right? In that time you think the whole world revolves around you. So yeah, seeking external validation, and then also sometimes using that as a bonding tool. It's like, oh yeah, like double chin, haha, we got double chin, and then someone else is like, yes, it's me too. Or like, I'm always eating, I'm such a fatty, I'm like always eating over here, I'm always by the food, and you're waiting for someone to be like, haha, me too, like let's bond over how we hate ourselves and how we think terribly about ourselves and all the things. And I remember when I used to be in flight attendant school as well, one of the girls there, we were similar weights. I would say she was even probably smaller than me, and like we weren't that big compared to other people our age in the flight attending school. We were bigger than others, and we both really struggled with our weight, and we were always trying to lose weight and on these diets and things like that. And whenever she would talk shit about herself, or she would like talk about a struggle that it is that you're being fat or being a fat person, or like we had to do like intense like water drills and stuff like that, and she had some concerns, and she'd be like, like as fat people, like what if we don't pass, like things like that. And she would always include me in it, and it was like our bonding thing because we were friends kind of thing. And it was like, yeah, we're the fatties, like kind of thing. And that was like our bonding thing. But also sometimes I would sit there and be like, why does she keep including me in this? Like, I don't want to, like, yeah, I'm struggling with my body, but I don't want to tell everyone about it. I don't want the whole class to know the struggles and things like that. So yeah, there might be this bond with another person that you're both struggling with this thing, or you're trying to find friends at an event, and it's like you're hanging around the food and you're like, haha, like look at us fatties, like kind of thing. And it's like that's not nice, like, and it's not okay, and it shouldn't be normalized. So that could be another reason why you're always talking shit about yourself. You're always putting yourself down in front of others. And also on that, when there is this self-depreciating humor, or when you're always talking shit about yourself, that actually affects your relationships as well. Whether it's in friendships, partnerships, like they don't want to hear you talking shit about yourself all the time. Like someone that you love is always hearing you say you're so fat and ugly, you're worthless, you're not good, you need to lose weight, you need to change yourself, you can't be loved, how can you love me when I look like this? That actually puts a real strain on the relationship, so much so that it can end relationships. I know there's definitely friendships I have where my friends are always putting themselves down, and I'm trying to speak and uplift them and remind them that they get to choose the way they see about themselves, and they they need to work on themselves. But if they keep doing it, it's like, okay, babe, I can't hang around you. I can't be friends with you anymore. And that might be in relationships as well. You're pushing your loved one away. And I'll tell you, and I think I shared this in one of my earlier podcasts, but I went to a retreat one time, and I really struggled with my body image and being too fat. And I would always talk shit about myself. Oh my gosh, I need to find this diary. I remember writing it out. And there was a part where it was, and forgive me if I get the details wrong, but we were talking about like what, that's right. We were talking about what someone would say about you, like what a loved one would say about you if you passed. So they're standing up at the is it an altar or wherever it is, and they're doing a speech, talking about so a loved one. So it was like, think about someone, and mine was Mets, and I pictured what Mets would stand up and say about me. And at the time, because body image, because not loving myself, because always talking shit about myself was like always at the forefront. It was in everything I did, everything I said about myself every day. That was the first thing. It was like I pictured Met standing up there and being like, oof. Actually makes me emotional, because I pictured him standing up there and being like, Leash was so fucking beautiful. She was amazing. She was the love of my life. She was this queen, she made so much impact. She was, all the things. She was a beautiful lady. And I wish she saw how beautiful she was. Ooh. And like that broke my heart. I remember being at retreat. I'm picturing it in my head. That's why I'm getting so emotional. At retreat, and I'm bawling. I'm like, holy shit, this is how I'm showing up every day. That, my boyfriend is telling me how beautiful, how smart, how amazing I am, and I can't see it for myself. And every day I'm talking shit about myself. How fucking hard would that be for him to hear that every single day? And that was one of the many light bulb moments I had where I was like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep talking shit about myself, because I'm going to drive this man away, because I'm going to ruin our relationship. And there's so many things that I shared, I actually share on Instagram and stuff, moments in our relationship where I was so like, I struggled with my body so much that it affected the way, I would have arguments with him and pick fights because I didn't like the way that I was looking, and I, hated myself. Like I actually hated myself. So I want you to know that this really fucks with your relationships as well. It fucks with the way that people see you as well. It fucks with, finding the love of your life and having great, amazing relationships and friendships as well. And then I also want to talk about the effect that it has on people who look up to you, people who see you as a role model, people like your kids, people like your nieces and nephews, people like any young person in your life, even siblings might be looking up to you and being like, oh, she talks shit about herself, so I've got to think that way as well. Or I've got to talk shit about myself as well. And it's like you're passing this down to future generations that, no, you can't talk highly about yourself. You got to mock yourself till freaking the day starts and ends. You've got to point out everything you hate about yourself and all the flaws and all the things, right? So you're actually you're a role model to other people, and you're modeling that to them, and they're going to take that on and they're going to pass that down. And I don't know about you, but fuck, you don't really want to be passing that down to hate yourself. You're passing that down to future generations to talk shit about yourself. You're passing that down because ultimately what that does, there's a quote that says, watch what you say about yourself because you're listening. I think that's the quote. Something like that along that line. But that's so true. Whatever comes out of your mouth, you are listening. You're taking that on board. Whether you know it or not, it's going into your mind. And it might be going into your subconscious mind. So you're acting as if those things are true. You keep telling yourself, oh, I'm too fat and ugly to show up. I'm too fat and ugly to wear that. I'm too fat and ugly to go for the life of my dreams. I'm too fat and ugly to go for that dream job. I'm too fat and ugly to travel the world. Oh no, I can't wear, like, all these things. You keep saying that, and it's like you act as if it is a true thing. You act as if it's real. So your results in your life is from those things. If you keep telling yourself you can't do something because you look a certain way, you best believe you're not going to show up confidently in your life. You best believe you're not going to go for that dream job. You best believe you're not going to go for that dream partner. You best believe you're not going to have healthy, great connections and relationships. You're not going to have the dream life that you want because you keep talking shit about yourself. You keep telling yourself that you're not good enough. You're fucking listening. You're taking that on board and you're showing up as if it's true. No wonder you struggle with being enough, being worthy, being valuable, loving yourself, loving what you see in the mirror. This is years. Whatever age you are, 31 years. For me, that was like 29 or 28 years, of me talking shit to myself over and over again. And it's like, nah, fuck that. It really does affect the way you show up in the world. If you keep telling yourself you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, you know what you're going to be? You're always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride. If you keep telling yourself you're too fat and ugly to wear certain things, you know what it's always going to be? You're never going to wear the clothes that you love. If you keep telling yourself you're too fat to have this job, you're going to keep being too fat to have that job, so you'll never go for the job, right? The double chin that you keep mentioning in front of other people, that's going to be your biggest fucking insecurity. And you're going to see that in the mirror every fucking day. And you're going to make it mean that you're not good enough, that you're too fat to be worthy and valuable and all the things. You're making these things mean things, and they're giving you real life results today. So I am all about taking action and changing this. And the first thing I want you to do is just start becoming aware of how many times in a day that you keep saying that to yourself. After this podcast, start noticing all the times where you say things that aren't nice about yourself, where you put yourself down in front of others. Become aware of it. Be so aware of it and then stop yourself. Like, actually shut up, like stop talking and just be like, nope, nope. That's not true. That I'm not saying that. I rebuke it. I reject it. That's not true. Right? I want you to start doing that throughout your day. And if there are moments where you're like, oh, I'm so fat and ugly because you're wearing something, can be like, nope, I'm not going to say that. And you might even want to replace it with something nice. Sometimes, and this is one thing I do, is like in a day, if I've had a day, right? And then I'm like, oh, it's such a long day. It's so shit. I hate this, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll notice myself, I'll catch it and I'll be like, grateful, 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 grateful. It's like, although the day's been long and it was actually hard, like I'm actually grateful to be alive and reminding myself that I am grateful. Right? So similar thing, if you notice that you are talking shit about yourself, you're telling yourself you're too fat and ugly, it's like, no, grateful for my body, grateful for my legs that got me here. Maybe saying something that you're grateful for, or just saying, no, sorry, I don't believe that. Actually, I'm choosing not to believe that thing anymore. But becoming aware, because when you become aware, that's like the first step to change. You can't change something if you're not aware of it. So becoming aware of that thing. So my challenge to you is to stop putting yourself down in front of others, stop putting yourself down, stop talking shit about yourself, and watch your life change. Watch the way that your relationships change as well. The way you show up in group circles, the way you show up to life, and the standard that you set for yourself as well. You might be the friend that's always talking shit about herself, and you're showing up now speaking highly about yourself, or just not speaking badly about yourself anymore, and watch your life change. Your standards are changing. And if you have normalized talking shit about yourself to your friend group and they've taken that on board, that it's okay, maybe there's some conversations you need to have as well and be like, hey, that's not okay to talk like that. I know that I used to talk about myself really poorly in the past and put myself down all the time, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm not doing that anymore, and I've chosen not to. So please don't talk about me like that, or please stop doing that. So yeah, that's the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. As always, if you love it, rate and review it, share on all the socials. I would love to connect with you. That's all. Ka kite, koe kia.